I didn't see half of the twists coming. And even when you thought you figured out one of them, nope, it is so good. I cannot recommend this book enough to you. It's very much Rosemary's Baby, but in modern times for the beige mom influencer, and it's more fun overall. So I would highly recommend it if you're in the mood for that. Something on my shirt? No? Okay. Well, hello, I'm Erica. I am okay. Everything's crazy and insane, but also really good and going well. I have a lot coming your way in the month of March and maybe a little bit into April, depending on editing schedules. By the time you're seeing this, I'm on a girls' trip. Me and the girlies, we're getting together. We are doing all of the fun things, and I'm taking you guys with me. However, I need to post this February wrap-up before any of that happens. I want to talk about February and all of the books I read in February. I actually read 6 books in the month of February. It's a short month, so not as many books were gonna get done. I knew that. However, the ones that I did read, I had a few 6-star reads that I can't wait to talk to you guys about. I already talked about one of them in my previous video, so when we get to that one, I probably won't talk too much on it, so go ahead and check that out. It's the book Tradwife. However, I'm actually filming this before I go see BK Borson in one of the local barns in my state, and she's being interviewed by Bryn Weaver, which if you don't know, I love BK Borson, I love Bryn Weaver, I love the Ruinous series, and BK just came out with her new book, And Now Back to You. I am listening to it, so we are excited. I'm taking you guys with me, but you're gonna see that next week, so if I seem like I'm a little like antsy and really high energy in this video, more than I am for most reviews, that is why. I have that song Sunshine Lollipop stuck in my head. Can you shut the We have books to talk about. I've read 18 books so far this year. That's not bad at all. For the 6 books I read in February, we will start with the first book of February, which is Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden. As we know, I got into Frida McFadden's books this year, starting with The Housemaid. And when I read the Housemaid series, I was like, this is a 5-star series. I love it. It's awesome. I for sure thought it was probably going to be like my #1 favorite, the first book of her work. And that is definitely putting the cart before the horse because I haven't read a lot of her stuff. So I feel I need to read even more books of hers to like make this determination. But as of right now, my favorite Frida McFadden book is the one that I just read, Dear Debbie. I gave it 6 stars. This book to me, it is so well done. It's one of the best mysteries I've read by her. I truly could not predict this plot twist. I don't want to give away anything. I know sometimes I'll like add a light spoiler here and there when I talk about books. When a book is a 6-star read, I either do a total spoiler vlog or I just like, I give you nothing. It's giving nothing. This book is about Debbie Mullen, who is a stay-at-home wife. She has 2 daughters and a husband, and a lot of things really start to unravel. She sort of starts to lose this Stepford quality to her of being happy and complacent exactly where she is and exactly how others treat her. This really starts to reflect with others around her, and it's sort of all of these factors of things that Debbie deems unacceptable start to sort of disappear from her orbit. Debbie, in the meantime, on top of being a stay-at-home wife, she is sort of a tech genius. Like, this woman is a genius, and she even like developed a few apps that made her some money, but she spends her days just being a housewife and answering a newspaper column, Dear Debbie. As her life slowly starts to unravel, Dear Debbie sort of becomes more and more unhinged, and I loved how this book unfolded. Crazy. I didn't see half of the twists coming, and even when you thought you figured out one of them, nope, not even close actually. The ending of this book, how all of the characters are sort of wrapped up, I might have changed 1 or 2 things, small subtle things, but it was a really perfect book, and I think it speaks on like the power and importance of communication within a relationship and within the familial unit. It is definitely a keep your friends close but your enemies closer situation. It is so good. It is so good. I cannot recommend this book enough to you. The next book, I'm not going to touch on it too much, however, it is Tradwife. Loved this book so much. Again, 6 stars. It's very much Rosemary's Baby, but in modern times for the beige mom influencer, for the one that has like, I love Jesus, God bless in her bio, and there's no color to be found in her home. And it's sort of, well, what happens when that beige mom, who seemingly has the perfect Christian life, is suddenly impregnated by a demon? It's a horror book, so look up the triggers, but it's a good time. Okay, next, I got into sort of an Allie Hazelwood phase, so the next few books will be Allie Hazelwood. I've noticed with Allie Hazelwood's books, I have to be in the mood for them. There usually can't be a release, and I'm like, I have to read it immediately, like I am with sort of like Mary Kubica, or like BK, or Bryn Weaver. Like, I have have to be in the mood for Ali Hazelwood, and I don't know why. I was in the mood to read it, and she just so happened to have a new release, so I picked it up. And it is called Two Can Play. This is sort of like a shorter novella. I think it's only like 200 and something odd pages. So Viola and Jesse are sort of an enemies to lovers. Their company is suggesting that they go do a team building exercise for everybody to get along better. So they go away for a weekend as a company to a resort. It's sort of a snowed in situation. And Viola the whole time is sort of just trying to figure out why Jesse avoids her like the plague. And Jesse is just so like lovingly adorable. And the entire book is basically just a weekend getaway for this company and them coming to terms with how they really feel about each other. I thought that it was very cute, very romantic. The miscommunication, because it's a miscommunication trope, right? The miscommunication was like the perfect amount for me in this book. I gave this book 5 stars because it became like an instant comfort read for me. I finished this book and I was like, oh, I have to read this again, especially during a snowstorm. I have to read this book again. It is so just adorable, all the warm and fuzzies. It was so perfectly paced, and I feel like no parts of it really dragged on longer than like they should have, because sometimes the miscommunication is like, okay, really? This long? I don't buy it. It was all just like the perfect amount. And so I really enjoyed those. The next 2 books are Under One Roof and Stuck With You by Ali Hazelwood. I gave both of these books 3 stars, and the reason I'm putting them together is because they are in the same series. It has one more book, however, I couldn't get it in time through Libby, and that's fine. So the first book, Under One Roof, is sort of a forced proximity trope with Liam and Mara. So Mara is an environmental engineer and Liam is a big oil lawyer. Complete opposites, right? However, the one thing that they have in common is a woman named Helena. I know, I thought of My Chemical Romance too. It was stuck in my head for days. Basically, Helena leaves the house to Mara. However, Liam has been living in the house the entire time. And so with Mara not wanting to sell because the housing market is ridiculous, and Liam not wanting to move out, they sort of just coexist as these roommates. And slowly as the months go by, we see them fall in love with each other, even though it is totally just an opposites attract. I really loved how this book dealt with grief and dealt with sort of forced proximity without making it really weird. It was cute, it was fluffy, it wasn't anything special for me, which is why I gave it 3 stars, along with the next one, which is Stuck With You. And Stuck With You is sort of a second chance romance situation between Sadie and Eric. And I learned that sometimes if I read books with something that even sounds like my name in them, I'll snap to attention like somebody just called my name. Anyways, this is between Sadie and Eric. It is a sort of second chance at love. She is a civil engineer and he is the man who burned the bridge between them years ago. It's a second chance romance. It sort of just goes through how they met, the falling out that was had, and it's can you find love with that one person again after such a fuck up, if you will. Again, this book, I gave 3 stars kind of generously. Both of those books were kind of forgettable, for me at least. It wasn't anything like revolutionary. It didn't become like a comfort read like Two Can Play. It was just sort of like, oh, this was a nice like filler book that I got done in 3 hours. So if you're in the mood for like some really short reads, just quick fluffy novellas, I would recommend that series. However, nothing life-changing for me, but it also wasn't the worst, so 3 stars for both of them. And then the last book I read is called #Crime Time with Geneva Rose. This is a short novella that she wrote. I decided to end the month on like a really good mystery because I've been sort of wanting that. Because again, I've been in just like a very mystery, scary book mood as well as like romantasy and everything instead of just strictly romance. And it's been really like having me appreciate my romance books more because I was getting so sick of them because it was all I was reading and I realized that I was hyperfixated and ruining it for myself. So having all of these different varieties really helping my reading goal again. But I saw Geneva Rose. It has the audiobook is a full cast for #TrueCrime. It was awesome. It was sort of like back in the day when radios would put on the radio theater and it was sort of plays. They would have sound effects and a full cast, and I've always kind of loved stuff like that. The BBC did one of The Hobbit and I listened to that the other day just like to relax and meditate, and it was so lovely. I highly recommend it. So #TrueCrime is kind of the same thing. It's about a brother and sister duo. They kind of are like long lost siblings. They come together, they accidentally witness a crime with like sort of a possible dirty cop situation, and it forces them to confront their past. But it's called hashtag true crime because it's sort of told through this menacing little brother's TikTok account because he wants to be TikTok famous. So it's hashtag true crime, and it's called The Crime Chasers because his name is Chase. It's a really cute audiobook. I got this on Libro. It is so entertaining and it is so fun. And I got it for like a couple bucks. So I'm glad that I have this like little 3.5 hour radio retelling because things like that, I don't know why. I don't know if it's the sound effects or what, but they really like relax me and really immerse me in the story to the point where I can like meditate while I listen to it. And it's so awesome. However, I did give this just 4 stars because it was more of like a funny, silly, fluffy mystery. It wasn't like The Perfect Marriage or The Perfect Divorce or like Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose that I've read because I do love her work. This was just something a little bit more different. It branches off in a more funny, spooky realm instead of like more of a serious whodunit like she usually writes. But I did still thoroughly enjoy myself. I think that the storyline still had a bunch of twists and turns. I think if you like whodunits that have a little bit more of a funny air to them, you're really gonna enjoy this one because it's less serious, it's less intense, I guess you could say, and it's more fun overall. So I would highly recommend it if you're in the mood for that. However, that is the last book of February. That is everything I read. Let me know everything that you read in the month of February. I want to hear all about it. What was your favorite read? Did you have any 6-star reads? I was shocked that I had 2 6-star reads last month. That never happens to me, but I did love them. I hope that you guys have a wonderful week, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.